With the hardships faced by the real estate market last year and everybody's tax assessments in the mail, a lot of questions about the changes that people have seen in the assessed value of their home and how it relates to real market value. RE/MAX's Sam Correa is here to help clear things up if you're concerned. So, Sam, let's just start with how accurate these assessments are.
Well, you know, the reality is they're not accurate at all. And that's where this is the busy time of year for me. A lot of my clients are calling me, trying to get a second opinion to see if it's worth pursuing to that next level.
Okay, and you've sort of got a map that we can put up here to show what the assessments looked like across the city. And it's interesting because how this is done is really important for people to understand.
It is. You can go online and take a look at the heat map that they have, and it's showing the difference between last year and this year. And you can see right away the darker color showing the change from last year's assessment. Some went up and some communities went down.
Right.
So super interesting how that's really been affected.
Yeah, and the way they determine it is through this sort of mass, I can't remember the word you used
It's
for it.
basically a mass assessment. And
Right.
that's kind of what a lot of people don't realize is they really feel it's, you know, particular to their own home. But the whole point of the mass assessment is the city has over 500,000 homes that they have to assess. Their goal for the taxes is to collect over $309 billion,
right,
up from $307 billion last year. And so really the only way they can do that for 500,000 homes in the city is to do this mass approach.
And it's kind of community-based. So what we're seeing here, the darker blue, that is where the assessments have increased.
Correct.
And the lighter is where they've gone down.
That's right.
And so they're just finding the balance to come up with the money they need to pay the bills, basically.
That's exactly
okay,
right.
no one's going to your house and having a look at, see, you know, how well the lawn's manicured or anything to come up with this.
And that's really the key, you know, and in all of my travelings, I've never heard of an assessor going to someone's actual home to really appraise that property. And, you know, appraising a property has many factors other than its location. It's the condition, it's the size, it's the upgrades. Right. And unless someone's come to your home to actually see that, it's really just a generic number that they put on the property.
So you've got some examples of how inaccurate these assessments can be. I think we're going to start with the home in Britannia.
Yes, this is an interesting property. It's actually assessed at $7 million, and it's on the market today for $5 million.
Okay.
And so that's a really good example of a property that is really not in the range of a property assessment.
Wow, that's a huge gap.
It's a big gap, and ultimately, you know, the buyers are looking at that property, possibly looking to it to feel that they're getting value.
Right.
So as a homeowner, this is a good example of why you don't want to reduce your assessment. And in many cases, when the assessed values are high, I often suggest keeping them high if you're going to sell. Certainly buyers will put a little value on that.
Right, this is an example of sort of the other way around.
This is exactly right. So this was a penthouse that sold last year, and the difference from where it sold last year to this year was substantially off, about $800,000. So,
okay.
So
in this case, this was overvalued?
It was.
Okay, interesting. What's the takeaway here, Sam?
I think the whole point, of course, is if you are thinking of selling and your assessment is high, keep it high. Because inexperienced agents will look at that to some value
and say, hey, look, this thing's worth
under assessed,
right,
you know.
Okay.
So it's a red flag if you're looking online and it says price below assessment. Right. That's certainly a red flag that probably, you know, it's assessed high because they're promoting it as a real value. The best way is call an agent, get that agent through, get the real market data rather than a generic data that's coming from the city.
You were mentioning you're getting lots of clients that are calling you sort of concerned. There is an appeal process here. Yes. It's typically really not worth it?
Well, I guess the appeal process that you should know is March 7th.
Okay.
You can actually now do it online. For $50, you can dispute your assessment online, and you could really have, you know, if you wanted to bring that assessment down, you can actually go online and do that. So what that basically means is you take the mill rate times what you think it's worth, and that's your tax savings. So if you want to save on average about $100,000 if the price goes down, I've calculated that to being about $200 to $250 a year.
Okay.
So the question is it really worth it if you can?
It'd have to be a pretty big drop for you to get your $50 back.
Yeah.
Just quickly before we go, highest assessment in the city. We love seeing this.
Yes.
Yeah, here it is.
Top 10 homes were released this month for
Yeah.
the highest assessed in the city. This one is in Pump Hill, assessed at $19 million. And
What's the tax rate on this?
this would be over $100,000 a year, $9,600 a month.
$9,600 a month you'd be paying in taxes if you had this highest assessed property
Yeah.
value in the city. There you go. Hopefully, if you can handle the $19 million home, you can handle the $9,600 bucks.
Exactly.
Great
Yeah.
stuff, Sam, as always. RE/MAX's Sam Correa. For more information, head to samcorrea.ca.
The Market, sponsored by Sam Correa of RE/MAX House of Real Estate.